We're now joined by the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. Tie? No tie. What were you rooting for?
It turned out fine. Now, what was weird was, so Friday night, I'm in a sequestered hotel room, theme hotel, but there's new COVID rules. I'm grab and go and in the hotel, so I think I'm going to work ahead. The most probabilities are Chargers and Colts, and 3 hours of just wasted time, which is fine because we just recently played the Steelers, so it's a quick refresh. But it turned out just fine to me. And Herbert played great. You guys, I mean, he's really good, but he's also 16-17 as a starting quarterback. Wow. Let's just all back up, take a breath, and realize he's 16-17 as a starting quarterback. He's also only one of 4 quarterbacks in NFL history to have 30-plus touchdown passes in his first 2 seasons and not make the playoffs. It hasn't happened very often. So let's just stay right there. And before we have a parade for the kid, he's good. But Mahomes was 26-7, I think, and he's 16-17.
I would say the NFL was patting themselves on the back for adding that Week 18 to the season, and it was already bonkers. Boy. It was already bonkers that the day started, that Sunday started with the Colts losing to the Jaguars.
Well, and the fact that they so you guys might have asked me a couple of weeks ago, what do you think of all these division games being backloaded and the fact that Week 18 is essentially all division games? It was brilliant. Why? Because even if a team's thinking about laying down or like, hey, let's just go into the postseason, and you're Jacksonville and you're going, it's the Colts. And you know what? We could just destroy their next 6 months of their lives. These division teams, including our great division, hate each other. They spend 365 days trying to figure out how to nuke each other off the earth. And if my season's kaput, but I'm playing those guys, and we could put a rock in their oatmeal, heck, why not? Let's go all out. We saw that all the way through, including the Broncos coming after the Chiefs. But that was all of those games were division rivals, and nobody really laid down. I mean, and so the NFL was brilliant in how they set up. It's really going to be called the pre-playoff playoff weekend. Just wait. I mean, that's what I called it, but you wait till next year. It'll feel like the pre-playoff playoffs.
Yeah, not only that, but 2 teams are also kind of fighting in a way over the number 1 pick in the draft, but they are also trying to win their games. You know, they could have just sat back, lost the game, and got that number 1 pick, but everybody was competing.
It's your division rival.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going to lay down? It's KU. You're playing KU, and you're like, are we going to lay down for this? It's KU. No, we're not going to lay down. And we can destroy – if K-State had a chance, any sport, to destroy KU's season – yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll take care of the draft pick later.
Yeah, that's what I thought with the Raiders and Chargers, with the chance to close the door on a division rival in that fashion, and then you hear on the streets is that the Raiders were going to sit on it and going to let it go, and they were fine with that until the late timeout. Were you surprised by that the Raiders, before that timeout, were thinking about, let's just sit on this and go home?
I don't think they were. I think that's hocus pocus. I don't think Bisaccia said that, did he? Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, he doesn't seem like that kind of guy,
No,
Bisaccia
they weren't going to do that. I think that's some hocus pocus that just made more salt into the wound.
Yeah.
I can say that after the game and go, hey, let's say this, and that'll just make it worse. That's what I think happened with that. I wouldn't put any stock. I think the Raiders were playing to win that game all along. And Carr played his rear end off. I mean, Carr was awesome in that game. That out pattern he threw to Zay Jones on their game-winning drive was legit. That and the fact the Chargers decided they wouldn't defend the run and give up a 3rd and 23 draw play for 24 yards. People forget about those kind of plays.
Speaking with the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, I do want to take a break on the NFL for just a moment because...
Well, let's just say this. Let's take baseball. K-State and KU are playing in the final weekend of baseball. KU's going to go to the postseason. K-State doesn't have much to play for, and it's the last game. And if K-State can take out KU to go to the postseason and end their year, you think they're going to do it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day of the week and twice on Sunday. There's no question.
That's why. the NFL set it up this way. It's brilliant.
Well, speaking of the Cats, you, as everyone else, learned on Sunday that former K-State quarterback Matt Miller passed away, and I'm sure when you heard the news, a lot of memories were just flying through your head. But when you think of Matt Miller, what comes to your mind?
Well, first of all, it's just a super sad situation that a guy that young would pass away so soon. I mean, it's just for his family and just heartbreaking. When you think of Matt, you also think of Les. Les was in our personnel department. I would see Les all the time, even after I left K-State. But I think of Matt Miller as the quarterback that got the Chiefs to the next step. His arm strength was so good. I remember the game that flipped the K-State KU rivalry for 30 years was the Thursday night win that I referenced many times in Lawrence in the 1994 season. And Don Davis had an interception, but the ball was thrown so fast it like ricocheted off his collarbone. The fact that Matt Miller had arm velocity, and with Coach Snyder's offensive scheme at that point, I love Paul Watson, but he didn't have the arm Miller had. So when Miller, he could throw the deep out, he could throw every route, but the tempo of Coach Snyder's offense went to a next level. Like if you're just beating a cadence, it went quicker to 1/8 time instead of 1/4 time because of Matt Miller's arm strength. He just took him another notch up, made him more explosive.
I know everybody talks about the touchdown pass in the Cincinnati game, the game winner, but what was the next best play for Matt Miller? What play do we forget about?
Quarterback sneak to get him into the Copper Bowl. A quarterback sneak. I'm pretty sure it was him. A quarterback sneak, because it was like a scratch. Were the Chiefs going to get there? Because remember, they could have wrapped it up the week before, I believe, against Iowa State. That was the famous streaker game. And Iowa State upset K-State 27-23. So now it's like, wow, you don't want to just falter at the end and not get the bowl game. And then they beat Missouri. And I can still see it on that play. I'm pretty sure it's a quarterback sneak by Matt Miller. Look it up. But to me, that's the snapshot in my soul that will never go away, because I'm thinking, howdy doody. We are going to a bowl. We've busted through to the next level. It was cross the line, was the slogan I gave the team that stuck to this day. It's still what they run through to go on the field. That was 91. Get a winning season. The 93 was grab the ring. And that meant they were going to a bowl. And that play, I think I can still see it. Look it up. See if the winning touchdown wasn't a Matt Miller quarterback sneak against Mizzou, because that set off this whole string of postseason phenomena that we've seen for Kansas State now for 30 seasons.
I did get to speak to Mitch Running on Monday. It was great to catch up with him. Matt Miller's throw to Mitch Running in the Iowa State game is still to this day one of my favorite throws in K-State history. That was, that's a 49-7 thumping of Iowa State in Ames. Yeah, that's certainly one of my favorite memories of Matt Miller.
Well, and that was cool because he's from Decorah, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an in-state kid, some kind of, why isn't he playing at Luther College? Mitch wasn't going to blow you away when he walked into the rec, right? In fact, you're thinking, hey, the down the hallway. But he would, that dude could play. And again, that's the speed of a Matt Miller arm, which made running better, because his accuracy and speed would give Mitch Running a head start on the throw, and the defenders would have less of a chance to react because of the velocity of Matt Miller's arm. His throws from his arm. Somebody's got to look that up. That's freaking me out. I think it's a quarterback sneak, and it's Mizzou, and it's in like we're in, baby. Mizzou's dead, and we're going, and boom, pep rally. Oh, we're going to, coach. I'm after the game. I'm going crazy because we're going to a bowl. I'm thinking, not in the bowl ring, maybe, because it had been kind of a rough go for Mitchie the Kid in his time as the voice of the Wildcats, going 0-11 and 0-10-1, and in those years. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wow. And then Coach just destroys my night because he goes, "Hey, you're the one guy I can trust to make a pep rally go." So I spend the rest of the night like my stomach's hurting because I can't let Coach down. I got to get a pep rally, and boom, it turned into that started the pep rally phenomenon that night at the La Paloma Hotel in Tucson.
On the QB sneak, I'll definitely have to look into it, because I thought Matt Miller had to sit out that year because he transferring from Texas A&M. But
93 he did?
Yeah, I think he did, because I think it was all Chad May.
Oh, it was Chad May. You're right. It was Chad May. It was Chad May's quarterback sneak. My bad. So there you go. Good job. Yeah, he had to sit out because of the Fullerton transfer. But yeah, the next year was when the stuff went to work speed. Thank you for clearing that up.
Well, we can always go double check though.
No, then the play would be the interception that you could have changed that game.
Yeah.
But the ball was thrown so hard it went like through his, like he looked down, it was like cartoons, and he had a hole in his chest.
But hey, Matt Miller was a part of that 94 team and that 95 team. That the only still ranked game between K-State and KU, and Matt Miller thumped them. Let's get back into the Chiefs here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill. Status going into Sunday. Do we know what they're able to do yet?
It's a minor miracle that we're sitting here for a wild card game in week 19, essentially, and the injury report is as good as it's looked in a while. Now, Clyde was limited today, so was Darrell Williams, but Tyreek was a full go. So other than Niang, who would be the starting right tackle in this game Sunday night, not playing, then everybody else has got a shot to make it. And so that's all good news.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, I knew he just had the one catch for 2 yards, but he got hurt in warm-ups, right? Like he was barely able to go.
Yeah. Yep, 2 weeks in a row now we've had a warm-up injury. It's like, what? And it was weird. It was a freaky thing. He just came down. It's like a heel bruise. He just came down and jammed his heel like a lot of us have done, painful. That's why they kept him out. He actually was on a double move and was wide open, and Mahomes didn't see him. Of course, there was like two Denver guys ready to kill Mahomes, so that's why I didn't see him. But we brought him in, too, to run the Cleveland play. We ran one that it worked, and the Cleveland play was the divisional playoff game last year where the Chiefs go to trips. They line him up inside, and then they rub him on a quick out, very Snyder-like in the early 90s play. And so he was going to come in for a Kirk Gibson limp out there and hit the pinch hit home run and walk into the dugout. And that's what they were going to do with him. But it appears now, as of today, he's much better. So he's had a couple of days to rest it. And that injury is just, or injury, it's not even injury, it's more of a nuisance. It's more just rest than anything else.
Well, Sunday Night Football will feature wild card matchup. Chiefs hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben is back in Kansas City after getting thumped by the Chiefs just not too long ago, just a few weeks ago. But Ben Roethlisberger has been talking to the media about how that they have no chance and they're just going to go in and try to have some fun, which it's supposedly going to be his last game, and I imagine so if the Chiefs pull out the victory. But Kansas City, after a 36-10 win just a few weeks ago, and Patrick Mahomes being so good against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, is it hard to think that Big Ben is wrong?
Well, a couple things here. One, is Mike Tomlin going to run down that tunnel with that team?
Yes.
The answer is yes. This
Yes.
is like a deposition with an attorney. I'm asking a question. I know the answer. So, I don't know if you've ever been deposed, but that stinks. Like, you guys know the answer. Why are you even asking? But Tomlin's going to run down that tunnel. That means the Steelers are going to come to play. And it's a 50-year tradition of toughness and pride. That's what the Steelers are bringing. Now, Big Ben has played in 13-9. This will be his 23rd playoff game. Now, he's not won a playoff game since that divisional playoff game in 16 against the Chiefs, where they had 6 field goals and the controversial holding call by Carl Chaffers, not that I remember his name, that took the 2-pointer off the board and it's not tied anymore and all that. Now, I think the Steelers will come to play and they're going to give it all they've got. I think they're playing possum here, and I think Big Ben. Was I on with you guys the week before the regular season game in Week 16, that Christmas game? But the Stafford, was I on with you guys?
We talked right after because I asked you about Byron Pringle.
Yeah. Okay. The reason I say that was go back. You can have some fun. Listen to this. Go to the Defending the Kingdom podcast. You just go to YouTube and search it, Defending the Kingdom Chiefs, and all those episodes will pop up. Go to the one before the Steeler game because I called it Russian history, meaning that Big Ben is like Grigory Rasputin. Right? In Russian history, it's the guy they couldn't kill. They put him under ice, they shot him, they stabbed him, just like, roar. It's like this, the monster movie late at night when we were kids and were terrified. Like, he just shows up, he just keeps showing up. And so the NFL can't get rid of the guy. He's in the playoffs. He's a 7 seed, but he's in the playoffs. But it's Big Ben. I mean, you can't kill the guy. He's like the weed in the garden you can't get rid of. And I say that as a compliment because there's Steeler fans all over the place, including listening to us in the Little Apple. My grandpa was a Steeler fan, Steel Curtain. So don't be mad. Don't go on Twitter. It's a compliment. You can't kill Ben Roethlisberger. He's a weed that will not go away. But hopefully the Chiefs can end his career on Sunday. They're coming to play, boys. Get ready. And just mouthwash that game 3 weeks ago. It does not matter. It's late.
Mitch, one more for you. These playoffs really do seem kind of wide open. I know you'd obviously pick the Chiefs, which the Chiefs are my favorite to win the AFC. The NFC feels super wide open as well, with the Packers obviously being the favorite. But who would you take out of the NFC?
No clue. It would be the Packers just because of Rodgers and playing such a high level and having to bye. One thing that we're going to have, and we won't know until we have 5 years of data on this, but let's go back to the way we started this conversation with the pre-playoffs. What you're doing if you don't get the bye, and we'll see if it affects the Chiefs, is you're adding one more playoff-type tough game. That's what last weekend felt like. So now you're going to have to win seemingly 4 playoff games to get it done if you don't have the bye. So that's why the Packers, I think, is my pick right now. But, hey, we know this. Don't be surprised by anything in this league. It's crazy.
Chiefs and Steelers Sunday night, 7:15 here on K-Man. Mitch, appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Matt Miller, rest in peace. But as I play against Cincinnati, we had the Giants the next day. That's when I was doing both teams, and I'm thinking my voice is shot flying home. I'm thinking I hope it's a blowout the next day. It was an overtime walk-off field goal. I had nothing by the end of that Chiefs thing. So, Matt, way to go, buddy. Way to beat Cincinnati. But, man, you took Mitchie the Kid out for like 2 weeks.